What's up YouTube, it's Kevin Walford123. It's been a while since I've had my Nvidia Shield, so I thought I'd do a little mini review. The pros and cons of the actual system and the software. So here we go. First of all, I'm going to go with the aesthetics. The system looks really nice. It's shaped like a Xbox 360 or an Xbox One controller. Same sort of design, same sort of shape. The only difference is the control sticks are like the PlayStation 3, 4, 2, at the bottom, both next to each other, instead of, on the diagonal. So let's look at the system. It looks like an Xbox One controller. It's heavy duty. It doesn't feel cheap. It doesn't feel like it's going to break in your hands. It doesn't creak when you, creak and rattle when you shake it around or anything. It's a solid unit. It feels like you're holding a mini PC. It's really heavy duty. You've got the shield badge at the bottom there. If it focuses, probably won't. This green port here, I think, is for ventilation. Air can come through the bottom. And on the top, you've got a vent for a fan. There's a fan inside it which cools it down. You've got an micro SD card slot. Mini HDMI out, which connects to the TV. Yeah, USB charge socket, which charges with, if you use, I think, the original cable, it charges faster than if you use an aftermarket cable. So I've read, and a jack for your headphones. Got 2 bumper buttons, which feel really nice. 2 trigger buttons, which I find are quite tough. They're not as soft, really. I prefer, to better press it nice and gently, and it goes all the way in. But with this, you've got to give it quite a press to use them. On the top, you can see this part here is called the lid. This one's a carbon fibre one, which I put a sticker on the top with the Nvidia logo. I think it's quite nice. The idea of it is to, milk a bit of money out of people to get customised lids to change. But at the moment, I think there's like silver it comes with, carbon like this, or black. That's it. So it's not really a massive choice, but the way that works is you just put your fingernails underneath, pull it off, magnet pulls it straight back in place. Open it up. You've got your volume button, your pause button or play, back button, home button. This is to open up the Tegra app part of the system. A, B, X, Y like the Xbox. 2 sticks, like I said, which are sitting in the middle. They're down below, in the embedded in the controller, so that the screen doesn't hit it when it closes. And a D-pad, which is a bit clicky. That click is obviously the screen as well, but it's nice. It's a really nice D-pad. It feels really good. Controls feel really nice in your hands. You've got 2 speakers on the front. They are loud. They are ridiculously loud. They are so loud it's unreal. You wouldn't pick it up on this camera very well. But when you're playing it, you can hear it, upstairs from downstairs. Whereas most devices like the PS Vita, things like that, they've got a bit of volume to them, but nothing like this. This is powerful, and it sounds good. The quality is really good as well. Sounds really nice. Nice screen, 720p screen, if it focuses. Excuse me. Let's try and focus it. There we go. And as you can see, I've got a lot of apps there. I've got Aptoid to download all the emulators, root browser, things like that. DS, PSP, PS1. You have to excuse the dog, he's crying in the background. Harry, come here. And yeah, so that's it for the outside of the system. It's a really nice unit. It's very heavy, but it means it's quality. As I said with the screen is a really nice quality, very crystal clear, and I can't fault the aesthetics. It's perfect for what it is. Excuse me a minute. Okay, I'm back. It was the dog. He was crying, looking at the rabbit. Well, we have a house rabbit, and he was looking at the rabbit crying, so it was quite annoying. So back on the screen. Screen's great quality. I can't fault the screen at all. Connecting the HDMI to the TV outputs in, I think it's 720p, but it's got the ability to do 1080p, so that's really good. I can't fault it. Once you connect it to the TV, it says console mode. You click it, turns it to console mode, which means this screen goes off and the TV takes over, and it looks spot on. I can't fault it. It looks so good. With the, let's go into, so you press the button in the middle, takes you into the Tegra apps. Let's just try and focus a bit more. There we go. So you've got the shop, which is to buy your stuff. Obviously American, because it's an American device. News, Android games, which you own, and PC games. So there's a few of mine PC games. But if you connect to Steam, you can get all your Steam games instead of just a few games that are just scattered. The streaming capability is really good. I like it. It comes out very smooth, whether it's emulation from like Dolphin emulator or anything like that, or whether it's actually a PC game, it runs really well. But there's a slight jitter I found. I don't know if it's to do with firmwares. I don't know, but it happens every, say, minute, 2 minutes, and it's just a millisecond. You get a little jitter that you just notice. It's not the end of the world, but it's still 99%. Perfect. We're going back again. We go home. That down in the corner is to connect you to Nvidia Grid. Now, Nvidia Grid is the, what's it called? What would you call it? It's the system's ability to stream games from another device. For instance, this has servers in America, in California. They do say that you'll get latency issues if you're outside of California because it's built for people in California. But you know this when you buy the device. So for me to play the games, they're playable, but the latency is bad. Like if you're playing Darksiders, you press to attack, then a few seconds later it attacks. So it says you do not support the current network conditions, which means I'm going to have lag. But you continue anyway. There's a load of games built in for free, and you can just click on them. Let's just do Street Fighter now. Show you it running. But yeah, these games are being streamed from California all the way to the UK, so you're going to get lag. Eventually they'll have, hopefully, if they don't can the device, they'll have more devices coming out and more servers in the UK and around the world, so you'll have no latency and you'll have no issues whatsoever. But their games look spot on. There you go, it tells you what the game controls are. Bit of Street Fighter. So it's just computers in another country doing all the software, all the hardware rendering for you, and you're just seeing the output on your screen. But there you just saw that, press start, and then it pressed start, like a millisecond after, but look. Down, up, down, up. It's not going with it. It's still playable with the games. Start it as quick as I can. Oh, that's a frames per second test, which is being done by some system, in America. But anyway, let's close this down. So yeah, that's the grid part of it. It's really good, but it's, obviously issues because I live so far away from the actual servers, which is known by a lot of people. When you buy the device, it's not going to work because it's built for people in America. What I bought this for was emulation. I've got Half-Life 2, I've got Portal 2, I finished Portal 2, finished most of Half-Life 2. They run really well, just like playing it on a PC. If you haven't played them before, you're missing out, so you need to play it. If you have played it before, it's nothing different. It's just optimised for the Nvidia Shield. I'm not going to go too far into emulation because I've got other videos, showing the emulators. But they run really well. The Dreamcast runs spot on. A few games have shadow issues. A few games don't work at all. They won't play. But this is a very early, I think it's like revision 6 build. So they're still early in the development. So you've got to take that into... take it in, basically, to... I've lost my train of thought now. You take that into consideration, basically. You know it's an early build. You're going to have problems. PlayStation, I've been playing that. It's spot on and no problems. I've noticed a couple of games had a bit of sound latency issue, but that can be fixed by either playing the other emulator like FPSE. Certain games will run better in that than they will in others, but you just learn that as you go along, and you just choose which emulator you want to use at the time. DS runs perfect, upscales. All of these are going to be upscaled as well to 1080p and run on the TV. So look really good. N64 is perfect. NES, of course, Mega Drive, SNES, all perfect. Game Boy Advance, perfect. So everything I've played is pretty spot on. Games like Dead Trigger and things like that will be optimised for this device. It's more powerful, so it runs the games better. The controls are automatically set up, so you can play the games with the triggers. Instead of attacking by touching the screen, you attack by pressing the triggers. So that's really well. A lot of games, if they don't have the ability to automatically assign themselves the triggers and the buttons, you've got a system on here like with the Arcos gamepad they used to have, where you touch the screen. Well, I can see if I can show you it with a game. Let's try Sonic. No, Sonic's not downloaded. Typical. Spider-Man. Has that been downloaded? Yes. But you hold the play button in, and then you get this option come up here. If I can focus on the screen. Focus. You're not going to, are you? So it's not going to show you exactly, but you can see the buttons. But you can get the left stick, the right stick, the touch panel, the buttons, you know, gestures for swiping. You can put them to a button so it knows that that is press A, things like that. But yeah, that's it, and then you just save it and away you go. So on the games that don't support buttons, you can make it support the buttons, which is really good. The only downside I've had with this device, out of everything, is that since the KitKat update, 4.4 I think it's called, you lost the ability to read and write from the SD card properly, which is pointless because this device has got 16 gig of memory, which fills up really quickly. Put a 32 gig card in it and it couldn't be used. But I rooted the device. If you don't know what rooting is, look it up. And it allows me to install a thing called SD card fix, and it allows you to use the SD card again, which I think is really bullshit, to be honest, that Google have taken over the ability to write to the SD card and read from it, and basically told you, no, you can't use something that's built into your device now. So if you've got an SD card slot on your device and you want to use it and you've updated to KitKat, basically they're putting a middle finger up to you and saying, nope, you can't use it anymore. So the only way to get around it is to root the device, which invalidates the warranty. But to be honest, if you're buying this in the UK, your warranty's gone anyway because it's in the UK and it's not, you know, valid from the USA. But you take that chance when you buy it, and that's the only downside to it. I haven't had any other problems, you know, no overheating, nothing like that. It just feels great, plays well. I can't fault it really. If I had to give it a score, I'd say 9 out of 10. The only downside, as I said, was the SD card. That's the only thing that puts me off a little bit. I can't really downvote the latency issues with the grid service because it's in America and they tell you that if you're outside of California you're going to get latency issues. The further away you are, the more latency you're going to get. But I can, you know, vote them up because it does work in the UK. It still works. It's playable, not ideal, but it works. So that's it really. I tried to keep it short. It's quite a long video. So if you're looking at getting one of these devices, I would say look on Amazon UK because they've got them for about £190, and eBay there's a guy who does a good deal, which is the system, a case, which is this case here, hard case, and the lid that goes on top for £217, including import tax. That's really good, but I think this is worth the £200 alone just for, you know, Half-Life 2, Portal 2. The emulation, you know, if you can get every NES game ever made in your hands, I think that's incredible, and it runs perfect, you know, let alone PSP, Dreamcast, PS1, everything, you name it, really, and it runs really well. One more thing I have to say before I finish. If you want to stream your games to this, you need a GTX card. I don't know if they've removed it yet, because they were implementing the ability to stream no matter what, but obviously you'll be affected if your system's running a lower graphics card. They will lower the ability to stream, but as far as I know, it was if you bought a GTX card or had a GTX card in your laptop, you could stream whatever you wanted. Yeah, it runs well. So thanks for watching the video. Sorry I rambled on a little bit, but if there's any questions you want to ask me about it, I can fill you in. So let me know in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next video. See you later, guys.